The one-hit wonder. Oh, there's a lot of controversy about this one when it comes to decisive moment photographs. Cartier-Bresson said you shouldn't overshoot. It's like overeating or over-drinking. You know, again, it's not like the selfie where you take 1,000 selfies and you pick out the best one. It could be like cherry picking, right? I mean, you could, put your camera on burst mode and just kind of shoot away. Hey, just take a video camera. Want to do street photography? Just continuously shoot video, aim at interesting things, and then go back to your computer and pick out the decisive moment, right? You can do it that way. I don't think that's how Cartier-Bresson thought about it. Some people say, he got so many good decisive moment photographs. What's the trick? Was he really that good at it? Or did he take a bunch of photographs and do some cherry picking? Some people say that when they went back to look at his contact sheets, yes, he did take several photographs of a scene, and then he picked out the one that he thought was the decisive moment. In fact, he himself said, it's seldom you make a great picture. You have to milk the cow quite a lot to get plenty of milk to make a little cheese. Another analogy he uses is hammering a nail. When you're hammering a nail, you kind of put the nail up against the surface and go tap, 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 tap. You want to get it secure, right? And then bang, bang, with 2 or 3 bangs, you drive it in. That's an interesting metaphor for doing decisive moment photography. Tap, tap, tap. You take a few photos, get the composition right, get the angle right, and then bang, bang, then you get the decisive moment photo. In that photo down there on the right of Ezra Pound, Cartier-Bresson said that he and Pound sat there for an hour and a half in silence, staring at each other. I don't think I can do that kind of photography. Being a psychologist, I'm going to have to try to say something. They sat there for an hour and a half, staring at each other, not saying anything. During that whole time, he said he took 6 photos. And this is the one that he thought was the best. Okay, so it's again that sort of tap, 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 and then bang, then you get the right one. There's also this idea of setting up for a walk-in photo. Have you ever done that kind of, you're walking around and say, hey, this is a nice scene. You kind of tap, 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 you get the composition just right, and then you wait for something interesting to happen. You wait for someone to walk into the scene, and then you try to capture them at a good moment. Wait a minute, I thought these were supposed to be photographs taken on the run. You don't set it up and wait for something to happen. Some street photographers talk about, you have to linger in the scene for a while. You linger in the scene, you walk around, you look for the good angles, you look for the interesting activities, tap, 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 and then bang, bang. Then you get the good photograph. Did Cartier-Bresson ever do that? Well, yes, he did. He did it with this photograph. He himself said that he saw this composition of these buildings and these triangles and the geometry and the stairway. He really liked it. And he stood there and he waited for something to happen. First, a priest came and walked up the steps, and he took that photograph. And later on, we looked at it, he said, yes, but the priest's body just doesn't seem interesting to me. And then this girl ran up the steps, snapped that photo, and we looked at that later on and said, that's it, that's the shot. Because it was the angle of her arms and the energy of her body that he thought that was really the interesting, decisive moment. I imagine he did the same thing of the photograph of the bicyclist going past him as he's standing at the top of the stairs. He must have done. How else could he have done it? He must have seen that geometry, liked it, and then he waited for something to happen, and then he snapped the photo. If you're going to be a real purist about this, and some photographers are, they say, no, none of this tap, tap, tapping, milking of cows. No, this is only one chance. It's a one-hit wonder. You see the scene, you take the shot, that's it. If you don't get it, that moment is gone forever. It's a very purist approach to decisive moment photography. And it reminds me a little bit like Zen archery. Has anyone ever read the book Zen in the Art of Archery by Eugene Herrigel? Came out, I think, in 1949. It's possible Cartier-Bresson read it. Herrigel studied archery under a Zen master in Japan. And in a nutshell, the philosophy of Zen archery is that you only let loose the arrow at that moment in time when there's no difference between you and the bow and the arrow and the target and the world around you and the universe, it all comes together in that moment, and there's no thinking, it just happens. And the arrow is in the target. And Hergel talked about how for like 2 years he studied under the Zen master. Said, I couldn't do it. I would stand there for hours with the bow and arrow in my hand and just not know what the hell to do. So some photographers have said, I've tried this decisive moment, one-hit wonder type photography, and I just can't do it. I give up. There's also the idea of cropping. No cropping is allowed, according to Cartier-Bresson. He did not crop his photographs. He forbid anybody else from cropping his photographs. If he saw that photograph of the girl running up the stairs, how people had cropped out the door, he'd probably be turning over in his grave. No cropping. He said that it's rare that cropping will ever improve the composition of a photo. If you don't nail it right off the bat, there's nothing you can do to really fix it. But the great irony of the puddle jumper photo is what? Anybody know what the original photo looked like? It was cropped. He cropped it. Remember, he's peeking his Leica through the slats of a fence, and he said that the space of the slats were just not quite wide enough for him to get his lens through it. And so you can see one of the slats of the fence on the left-hand side, so he decided to crop it out. So even the great puddle jumper photo was cropped. Okay, we're getting there now.